Welcome to the 16th episode of the Daft Previews podcast. In this episode, we preview round 22 of the NRL. My name is Hector, and I'm joined by my co-host, Lycus. What's cracking, big fella?
Oh, got heavier pockets these days. A good weekend on the punt. A sore head from the booze. Oh,
Tell me why.
My best bets. Multi got up. So for those of you who love a punt, which I'm sure we all do, there's nothing better than when you put down a multi and you actually put thought into it rather than 1 minute before the horse jumps, putting a bet down and going, no, I think this, and the multi just plays out the way you predict it from start to finish. It was one of those weekends when you land a 14-1 multi comfortably. Like there wasn't any, I felt, luck involved. So everything seemed to land. And it was good because we actually got screwed over. Some other people might have if they put their bets on Sportsbet early on in the week, because the old venue change voided a lot of the multis. And if you're using bonus bets, for example, you couldn't cash it out. Or if you were betting with even with your own money, you cash out and lose money. So I actually placed it on 365, and 365 to their senses didn't void any of those games with the venue changed, which was really good. So really good weekend. Got up on the punt, watched some interesting games of football, had a big day on the drink on Saturday. I'm very unfit drunk at the moment, so need to get back into the swing of things.
So you're at your best.
Yeah, flying.
Those old Zoom benders, huh?
Yeah.
Did you have any themes for yours, or it was just a bunch of blokes just having a yarn?
No, we did. We had so we had a group of us, and we did pre-Zoom bender. We agreed. I said I'm starting at 11:30 if anyone wants to join. So we jumped in at 11:30 in the morning, but we did Punters Club for the day, so everyone chipped in money, and everyone had extra 3 races at Sydney and Melbourne to bet on. We bet on. I put all the bets on. We tracked it. I was doing shots of Fireball if we got a winner. That went right through till I think the end of the Melbourne Manly game. I think by like 10:30, I was snoring on the lounge. I was just cooked. So good laugh. I suited up as well, though. I suited up for it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I suited up. The races attire.
You had to get in theme.
Yeah.
Fucking ride those fuckers. My Zoom bender was a little bit more low key, since a lot of the boys have misses, and so do I. We had all the partners on. We fucking played a little bit of trivia. Someone prepared a nice presentation for us. I was half-assing the trivia because the Penrith game was on at the same time. So safe to say that I lost. But I've taken the reins of our Zoom fucking trivia meeting or whatever it is this weekend. I messaged all the boys and their missus today, and I said, make sure you cunts are wearing a condom, because the trivia night on Saturday is going to go off its head. So I'm going to upset a few people, but that's not my problem because that's not my missus. So I'll let you know next week how that one goes. But let's get straight into this agenda before I get fucking too wild here. Like kicking things off with your thoughts of the week. In lockdown, there's a lot of time for us to be alone with our thoughts, potential dick in our hands. But we'll let you kick this one off. What's your thought for the week? Take me through a rabbit hole, please.
Yeah, well, mine's maybe themed what we did on the weekend. I was hitting the drinks and everything, and I was thinking about it because, like, I'm not an alcoholic. Let's put it out there. I just want to make that clear before I go into this, because it might sound a bit bad, but I have a lot of different types, from gifts and bottles of alcohol. Like, people usually, when they go to buy a bottle of spirits, I don't think they know the spirits that I drink. So I get like random stuff like bourbons, and like I'll try them, but like they're not so I've got a big range of drinks. And I was just thinking, like, I was looking at them going, God, like some of these I wouldn't even touch. But then everyone that like has drank in their lives has that one drink that they won't go near again because of a traumatic experience. Like, it's something that they just pocket away. It's the only thing in life where you're allowed to exclude it and not talk about it. You know, any other traumatic events in your life, you're encouraged to speak up about and take on. But I think, like, I was thinking, wouldn't it be sick, like, for a Zoom idea or a bender idea, do it at Zoom at your own home, is that everyone be honest and brings that one drink that they can't stand, and everyone does that drink in one sitting.
That kryptonite. And just watch the musical chairs unfold. Like, that'd be, like, mine personally
is black sambuca. So I had I had a shocking night when I was younger. Like I was drinking basically like a cup. I was drinking up to like half a cup of it straight, and then I just remember like I woke up in my bed in the morning and it was like black vomit. Like it was disgusting. The smell of the sambuca just gets me off like alcohol altogether. So I was thinking like let's face our fears, lads. Like let's get on Zoom, organize with your friends, be honest. What everyone has their own fears. Get it on stream. Let's tackle the fears, get it done, and then you are going to be a better person, because I feel like nobody does that in their life. Nobody goes back. Everyone just accepts that that's your drink. You can have that. No, you can't let a drink conquer you.
That's true.
What's your drink?
I'm cringing.
What's your drink?
I am cringing. Mine's actually, it still makes me sick thinking about it though, but it's just a beer variant, right? So this was when I was a lot younger. We used to, you play all your drinking games and stuff, and I'm sure you would have done this as well. It's the 100 shots of beer in 100 minutes.
Centurion Challenge, yep.
Yep. So we used to do that quite a lot, and to kick off the party. But there was this one time we did it with pure blondes, and we knocked them all off. Then we were going to get out to the city. So someone brings a little bit of marijuana around. So start having a puff of the marijuana. That doesn't sit well with me after 100 shots of beer, which is only 10 to 12 beers.
Yep.
But that didn't sit very well with me. And I was just throwing up all the way into the city, all over the place, throwing up in the line of the nightclub. A couple of Long Island teas settled me, but I threw up at the end of the night once again. But the thought of a pure blonde just makes me sick. And it's like, I'll drink any and every beer. Like I smash a VB every day. But for some reason, that pure blonde, it's
shit beer though. It is a shit beer.
Is it shit?
It is a shit beer. As a beer, again, I think when we were younger drinking, it made you look cool. I don't know. Like, because when you look back in the day, like people weren't ripping VBs or Tuies or Super. Like it was a very.
I'll tell you what my favorite beer was a long time ago. This is around a very similar time. Do you remember the White Stag?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah,
that fucking beer was so good. The White Stag. Was that a Tuies White Stag?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome. Love that one. But
they don't make that anymore, but I've seen it.
No. And they only did it for a short period of time. But I think it just goes against the values of the makers of Tuies.
Yeah.
To have a low carb beer, but it was so good.
But see, wouldn't that be sick? Like if I have the same, everyone has different drinks too. Like no one has the one common drink. It's not like some people it's tequila. Like it's very range of, and everyone gets on.
Some people's vodka.
I think it's a very good way to get to know people because that's something traumatic that's happened to them, and there's always a good story behind it, and you build on it, and then you tackle the fears. You either get a rinse and repeat of it, and
I like that.
Funnier, or you come back going, "I've conquered my fears. I am now a better human being for this."
Face your fucking fears. I'd like to just get the Discord group rolling on that, boys. Listen to this, and then let's talk about it. Let's face our fears. Let's get it out in the open. And if we have to do a Zoom call, we'll do it. Let's just face them together as a community.
Exactly. If we die, we die.
No, I rate that.
I mean? But we'll die fighting against what we did not like.
That's true. And put it this way, if any of us died doing that, somehow it'd be a COVID-related death to fear the public.
You'd just be another number. It's all good.
Yeah. That's fucking hectic. My thought for the week, somewhat COVID related, but something I like to do in my pastimes is to follow 7 News on Facebook, because I like watching everyone argue in the comment section, because firstly, you get a lot of the dumbest cunts alive watching 7 News every day, being that the source of truth. Yeah. And then you get even the dumber cunts commentating on all the posts, and I like to watch them argue and punch on. I almost got involved with one, and it was about people were complaining because someone had not leaked, but someone pasted how much Gladys gets paid every year. It's like $400K a year.
Yeah, it's good money.
And then everyone was having a massive go at that. So a lot of people aren't even working, and she's there getting $400K a year. And all I was thinking was like, she is working harder than she's ever worked in her whole life, managing this state and everything that's happening to it. And I was so willing to just get in there and throw. But I was really just thinking about the poor souls who commit time arguing with random strangers on the 7 News post. It's highly entertaining. A good friend of ours is also on there quite often.
Yeah, I know you're on about.
Yep, the WWE champion. But I fucking just love it to death. Like the last time I enjoyed it this much was when they had those that stimulus package where they chucked in an extra 1,000 on top of your tax return if you're in a certain bracket. That was the last time I had that much fun reading through the posts. Oh, fucking hell, it was good.
It's honestly the people who just they can't stand another opinion and they just have to go. I just love those types of people. It's like, like what could, and also like when you write something, do you really think you're going to win that argument? No matter what that, I've never seen it in like Fox Sports articles. You name the sport news article, everything. I've never seen someone write a really well written argument. The other person comments back going, "No, good point. I'm changing my mind on this." No, it's usually like, "Shut the fuck up. You're a da 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 da." No, you're no fucking idea. Like it's never ends well. Like, but like people are very determined.
And it's usually like 2 or 3 responses each, and then it gets personal. Like they've clearly gone into the other person's
profile picture. It's usually the profile picture attack. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. They attack it. It's like they'll attack it and say stuff like your fucking car's shit or your missus is fat. Or
they just go after him.
Look at your 3 necks. And then suddenly it's got nothing to do with Gladys, her pay, and anything news related. It's just a personal attack. And I just love it to death. So I would hate to be a victim of that type of commentary, but wouldn't mind participating. But also I'd probably change my profile pic first before I get attacked. But look, great way to pass the time, and I encourage you all to get into it. Speaking of getting into it, are you ready to get into this round of football?
I am ready to go. There's only 4 rounds left in the regular season.
Oh, we're running out of time to make bank, boys, but I think we're starting to pick it up at the right time of the year. It's like our punting skills. We're being coached by Wayne Bennett. We're building towards the finals.
Yeah, we've been resting winners. We've been resting the winners most weeks. Suspended winners.
The first game of the round kicks off Thursday at 7:50 p.m. at Sunshine Coast Stadium. It's the Melbourne Storm versus the Canberra Raiders. Interesting looking odds on this one. Melbourne to win is $1.07. In the history of Melbourne v Canberra, that line on that number's never been so short. But looking at form, looking at the team list, probably not too surprised. But the line on this thing is fucking massive. I guess the key mentions in terms of the team list for Melbourne, Felice is back and Nelson is back. That's a big aggressive pairing that he's back into this lineup. They've still got the deadly Smith, Harry Grant duo, Pappenhausen, Nico Hines going at it. Telling signs for Canberra. Obviously, who do you think I'm about to call out here? Who the fuck is in this team that I'm going to call out?
Jack Whiten at 5'8".
Jack Whiten still at 5'8", regardless of how bad he plays. He's going to be there because he plays hard. Not a winning strategy, but I'm not the head coach. How do you see this son of a bitch going? Are you looking at a line bet? You got a value play that you want to talk us through?
This one, it's hard because I think when you get the lines this big, it's got to be, you've really going to take like 20, look at 24 and a half, 23 and a half, 23 and a half. Like, I think Melbourne, when they play the Bulldogs, when Penrith played the Bulldogs and Penrith were flying, I think it was like 28 and a half. It wasn't much bigger. Like, that's a huge line. And I know Melbourne are unstoppable and beating teams, but they've also, as I said, there's only 4 rounds left. They're comfortably ahead on the ladder. They're going to obviously not.
They don't have to worry about for and against.
For and against is out the window. There's going to come a point, but also I think that game against Manly on Saturday night, I thought they had the rub of the green, they had the possession, and Manly just hung with them. And if you look at the game, obviously Penrith, they played a Penrith team. Cowboys hung with them. So I don't know if they are capable of blowing any team off the park. But a team who doesn't mind playing against them is Canberra. I think they'll hold. I would take the line, not super confident, but the 23 and a half, I think, is a big enough start if Canberra keep it close for a while, it turns into a grind, or Melbourne take their foot off the pedal and coast to victory. So I'd take the 23.5 with that as my bets. In terms of try scorers, Remus Smith, $2.10. I know he hasn't hit amazing amounts of numbers lately, but that's crazy odds for me. I think this season he scored 13 tries this season in 20 games, so I'm jumping all over that. And yes, he didn't score against Manly, but he scored in his 3 previous games against Penrith, Cowboys, and the Knights. So I'm taking $2.10 for him to cross over. How do you see it?
I've got similar thoughts on this one. I've really got scared of this line. It's massive. Melbourne doesn't need the for and against. They just need the 2 points, so they need the win. So I think they need to get themselves to a comfortable spot in this game. I don't think they'll be under threat of losing it. I think it'll be a cruisy one. They might try to grind this one out. Or they might get loose with the ball. I'm not too sure, but they've just got so much better form, better players. But if I was picking the line, it would definitely be the Raiders. I've put together a multi in this one, paying $2.80, which I'm going to jump on. Ooh. Tried to play it a little bit safe on this one. We've got Melbourne Storm to win at 13+. Got Justin Olam as my anytime try scorer. If he was in a Broncos uniform, he'd be my favourite centre in the game. So he's my second favourite centre in the game, be behind Katoni Staggs. But I've got Olam to score, and I've got total points under 65.5. It's fucking huge, but I don't see Melbourne absolutely running right on this one. Like we said, they'll probably just coast, get comfortable, and win the game. Canberra haven't been scoring very well, mostly due to Jack White being at 6, and having a ball runner at fullback in Jordan Rapana. So that's my 3-leg multi, paying $2.80.
They're in the 8 as well, Canberra.
Yeah.
They are in 8th spot, so they are playing for finals football, which is hard to believe. 8 weeks ago, you'd be thinking that. But they are a team that are fighting to make the 8, so there's more at stake for them as well.
Yep, most def. On to Friday's games at 6 p.m. Suncorp Stadium sees the St. George Illawarra Dragons versus your Penrith Panthers.
My Penrith.
Your Penrith Panthers. They're all yours, baby. 5-year plan. Big changes within the team. Matt Dufty still on the reserves, despite the Dragons desperately needing his attacking prowess. Cody Ramsey's out. Do you see that picture of his fucking mouth and his teeth?
Yeah, wear a mouth guard, you fucking idiot. That's fucking... Then again, like, you go, why would you not? But then you'd be like, oh yeah, football players. Think about a lot of the decisions.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Especially the Dragons boys. Tarek Sims is also out for the Dragons. The in's not really worth talking about for them. The biggest out is obviously still Ben Hunt. For the Penrith Panthers, young Appy Coruscant, unfortunately, didn't get his unsportsmanlike conduct charge overturned, so he's out. Cleary's been named on the reserves, but most likely not going to play. Have you got any news on Tavita, though? He's been named on the reserves. Will he be playing this week, do you think?
I don't think he will, because I can't imagine he's rejoined the squad. Maybe he did today or something, but like what happened on the weekend, as what was reported, the fact that I can't, especially because he hasn't played a game for Penrith yet, so it's not likely he's going to slot in and gel with the boys, and he still needs some time, I feel. So I doubt, and again, similar to the Cleary, I don't think they'll rush him. Like, it's not like he needs to play this game.
Yeah, no, that's true. What do you think of Matt Burton's game last week? Because everyone's going bonkers over him because of that game.
He played well, but he scored the 2 tries and carried them. But then the week before against Melbourne, Penrith had ample opportunities, and I know it's Melbourne, but you give most halves that many opportunities and you'd slam them. But because he played well against the Roosters, it's like, oh, Matt Burton's going to be great. But I still think he's still a couple years away. Like, he's not. Yeah. Yeah.
He's clearly his ball running skills.
That's why I think he's a center. He should be a center.
He's a perfect center right now. Long term 5'8", of course, but he can kick, but he can just kick the ball really hard. Tactically, I haven't seen anything impressive out of his.
He hasn't kicked a 40. He hasn't kicked really a 40, hard. 20. He hasn't, kicked like his kicking game online as well. Like he's not putting bombs. Like that stuff comes with time, but put him in the centers. Like imagine last tackle you can throw to either side with a halfback or 5'8" and the center there to kick. And his try he scored, and everyone's like, "Oh, he burnt to death." That's the center's try. Like he was parked out wide and caught the ball and ran himself. Like that's the center's try.
Yeah, exactly right. But what's the line on this one?
18
19 and a half? 18 and a half.
Yep.
Okay. Well, how do you see this game playing out? What are your tips on this one?
Similar to last week. So as I said last week to the lads, if Cleary's not playing, you smash the Dragons line. If he is playing, you get on as quick as you can. So last week, what happened? The line was 9.5 for the Roosters game. Cleary wasn't. Was it 9.5? Yeah, it was 9.5. And then Cleary wasn't named. He was dropped on the day before. I think it was the Friday the Friday was ruled out. And for about an hour afterwards, the bookies actually didn't move the line, because I think what happens is the statement comes out from the coach or the trainer saying he's been ruled out. So NRL News reported, but then it's not officially done on the team sheet until it has to be 24 hours before kickoff. So the team lists don't update. Then once the team lists update, the bookies then move. So what happened is the line then shifted out to -4.5, I think it was at kickoff, or 5.5. And +4.5 for the Roosters, essentially. And if you got on the 9.5, you're sweet. But you missed. If you went on the 5.5, you lost because Penrith won by 6. So I'm taking that the same way. But again, betting right now, I'm going Cleary's not playing because there's no need for him to play. That Burton's doing a good enough job and they're winning. And as I said, they only need to win one more game essentially, and they're going to make that top 3 spot. +18.5. I'm all over that. And anytime we just talked about him, Matt Burton is $1.83. That's crazy. Like if Cleary plays again, he's going to move into the centers. He's going to be more likely to score. And $1.83 even in the halves, I think that's ridiculous. So
he scored quite a few tries out of the 6 anyway. So I'd be confident back in that. I've got a 2-leg multi on this one because the Dragons notorious for not being able to score points, and so are Penrith without Cleary. So the unders, the 50.5, I'm taking that. I think it'll be closely contested early. Penrith probably won't risk it too much. Dylan Edwards is your fullback, not too much creativity. Matt Burton lacking in ball skills. Luai doesn't seem like a great player without fucking Cleary, to be honest. And having no Appy also slows you down. So I think the unders is pretty safe play for that. The other one I've added to that is Penrith -5.5. I think very similar to the Melbourne game. They'll win. They'll make it easy. But I don't see them covering the line against the Dragons. That's fucking too big. But definitely the 5.5. I think the Panthers will cover, and that's a $2.50 play for me right there. Now onto the game that we all wanted to talk about, all by being me. The mighty Brisbane Broncos versus the Sydney Roosters at 8:05. Have you noticed how quickly I fucking turn on these Broncos? I wrote them off completely not too long ago.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of love happening. But I think the Ben Ikin effect is real. Having a good general manager of football makes a massive difference to a club. And he's really sparking the boys, or it's probably because Matt Lodge and his angry ass isn't there anymore. Not sure. But at 8 o'clock at Suncorp, Brisbane versus the Roosters. Couple of big changes here. We've got my favourite penalty giver in the NRL, Tom Flegler. Loves a set restart on the 4th tackle, slowing down the play of the ball, hands in the ruck. Loves it. He's back for my Brisbane Broncos. The best defensive winger in the comp, Xavier Coates, is back. But something I am excited to see is young Selwyn Cobbo. Remember I made a big deal out of him when he made his debut?
Runs big.
Baby Latrell. He's playing in the centres, and that's his preferred position outside of fullback. We had him on the wing before. Solid carry, so interested to see how he goes in the centres. For the Roosters, big Jared Warrior-Hargraves is out, and Angus Crichton, he copped 3 weeks for that fucking crusher. Poor bloke.
Rough.
But the Roosters, as expected, most likely to go on with things. They're the favourite in this one. What's the line on this one, and how do you see this one going?
So I can't believe I'm saying this, but the line's at 14.5. But I'm also I'm also going back to the Broncos in this one. I think Angus Crichton's a big loss. I think also the injury toll we keep talking about with the Roosters is taking time. And a couple of weeks ago, I said, Para are going to be, that's the game to get them. And all of a sudden, Para have just been shithouse since. So I've ruled out Roosters form based on that because Penrith came out and beat them without Cleary, without Fisher Harris, without Toto, without Pangai, obviously. Like they're missing us without Isaiah. They're missing a ton of players. They've come out and beat them. Also, Yo did play. So whereas the Broncos against the Knights, they covered the line, so they got me there, which was good, and they actually looked like they could cause the upset a couple points during that game. So I think, again, I like the consistency in the team. You're right, Selwyn Cobbo is a big in, but they're sticking with also. They're trying to stick with a halves combination, and they've just got some consistency in that team. So I like what they're doing at the moment. And yeah, since Icon's gone there, they just look much more reliable to bet on. Brodie Croft off to the UK is probably a good thing, also getting him out of there. But
he needs it.
Yeah, he does. So I'm going to take the points here in the line, the plus 14.5. And also early in the season, Broncos did travel to Sydney and did shock the Roosters. So they're not going to be too scared against the Roosters. In terms of try scorers, I know you just bagged him out, but I think Xavier Coates will get over.
Oh, he scores.
He
scores. The Broncos score 52% of their tries on their right wing. It's the most one-sided attack in the competition.
Yes. So that's where I think the opportunities will come for. I know Roosters league points on their right edge, the opposite side, but also I think that's the way the Broncos are going to lean. I think Coates at $2.10 is money. How do you say it?
Cash. One thing that was interesting, I was looking at the team lists, and a lot of the players are very similar to who they're up against, but the Broncos just seem to have like a budget version of who the Roosters have. like Teddy, amazing ball runner, amazing, great balance, footwork, strength. He's got the lot. Tessie New, very similar, just nowhere. He's just not as good as Teddy, but he plays a very similar way.
Yeah.
Corey Oates and Tupou. It was more Coates and Tupou. They're basically the same. Tupou just knows how to defend a lot better. Mm-hmm. Herbie Farnworth is like a shit version of Joey Manu. If you watch them play, plays very similar. He's just not as good as Joey Manu.
True.
It's unbelievable. Tyson Gamble, Hutchison, they are so average at everything when it comes to being a 5'8". And all they do is bomb the ball. They do nothing else. It's just Tyson Gamble's got some personality. That's the only difference there. And then even when you jump into the forward pack, Payne Haas, he's got the number on Takiaho, but very similar. Play a very similar game. Alex Glenn and Nat Butcher, again, very average second rowers. They're just safe. They do nothing great. They just work. All right?
Yeah.
Jordan Ricky and Satili Tupouniua, aggressive. They're psychopaths. Jordan Ricky just doesn't have the engine that Tupouniua has. Break lines, score tries. And then Kobe Hetherington and Victor Radley. They're ball-playing locks. They're good hitters in defence. Kobe Hetherington just doesn't have the athleticism and the drive that Victor does, but very similar players. The Broncos just have worse ones. So
probably not as good.
That was quite interesting. Either. No, but
probably more well-behaved.
The Broncos on the yes, Broncos heaps better on the pokies though.
That's true.
We'll hit those 5 dragons better than the Roosters can. Let me tell you.
I
bet. But I've gone Broncos to cover the line in this one. Basically because the line is massive and my boys are in form. I'm confident in that. The other play that I have on this one is the unders. The Broncos have been playing a lot better lately, but it's not because of their attack. They still have no shape.
Yeah.
It's still built heavily on fucking Payne Haas running a mile and then eventually getting close enough to the line, and then we just go right to the Coates' wing. But I'm going the unders because of the past few weeks since we've been playing better, just defensively in the game. Last week, we didn't touch the ball for 8 minutes. We were on our line for 8 minutes. And me being a fuckwit, I was watching it on KO Sports, right? Watching the pregame. My mate texts me and he messaged me saying the Ben Ikin effect, question mark. Because I was talking up this whole Ben Ikin thing, we're better since he's there. And I was like, what the fuck's he talking about? And then he said, you guys are in trouble. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I checked, KO did that thing, took me back 20 minutes in time, and I was rewatching the pregame all over again. So I missed the first 4 minutes. And then I watched the following 4 minutes, but we were just playing defense the whole time. And I couldn't have been prouder. I scored the first try of the game, still lost, but really happy with the defensive effort, and that's why I think that game's going unders. If you don't like me spending so much time talking about the Broncos and you're listening to this, get fucked, all right? They're the best team in the comp, and I'm going to talk about them as much as I want. Let's get into this slutty Saturday. I noticed in the Discord group, a lot of cunts calling it a slutty Saturday multi, and I absolutely loved it. Kicking off this slutty Saturday at 3 p.m. Probably these are the sluttiest teams around because they give up a lot. It's the Rabbitohs, and they put out a lot. Yeah. It's the Rabbitohs and the Titans at 3 p.m. Seabus Super Stadium. It's got one of the hardest, fastest tracks. If you notice all the games at Seabus, the grubbers go dead. That's a hard and fast track.
Yeah, it's and when it buckets down rain, it's like pristine condition the next day, and it's rock hard again.
Yeah. There's no soil under there. It's fucking concrete. So watch your ACLs, boys. Going to the team list for this one. Not too many changes happening. Very similar 17s week on week. Really interested to see how this one plays out because the last time these guys played together, what was it, 40-30?
Yeah.
A 70-point bashing. So a great game for the punters, that one. Anytime try scorers all over the joint. Eat that shit up. South's heavy favourites in this one, despite the good form from the Titans. But how do you see this game going?
This is the last of the games I'm not confident on. The next one I'm much more confident on. So stay tuned for those. But I still think Souths win this one, and I've got them to cover the line just on the basis of I feel we're comparing Souths to previous weeks. They're getting better and better as it goes on. Last weekend, they were always comfortable against Para at 40-12. Week before that, they put 50-14 on the Dragons. So they are conceding at times there, but they're not having those big laps. They scored 60 the week before against the Warriors. So they're scoring a lot of points now. Still conceding a couple. But the last 3 weeks, they've looked much better. So I've got them to cover the 16.5. Even though I think the Titans will still score some points. So I think the overs also is the big play there, barring the weather. I haven't checked the weather there, but I've got them minus 16.5. Josh Mansell's still there, but he's scoring tries. He's got to catch and put the ball down, which is working well for him. Good on him. Proud of him. A lot of Panthers fans are like, why did we let him go? And I'm like, you'll see when he comes to play the big team. You just send a little bit of traffic his way. You'll see.
Yeah.
Then they were like, he ran over 200 meters on the week. I'm like, yeah, how many? See, on the weekend, he made at the start of the game, they got him in space.
Line break over and over again, yeah.
But as soon as he got past, he got wound up straight away. Like he never was going to go around or run over a player. But that's enough of my weekly Josh Mansell sledging.
Oh, let me jump in on this Mansell sledging real quick. I was speaking to one of the lads on the Discord group, Fallen, fuck you if you're listening. But we were talking through best bets for the round because we put something together and dropped $100 each on it.
Yeah.
Which paid about $550, which won, by the way. So that was part of the 1,700 I won. That was one of it, one multi. But we were talking about how Mansell bombs tries. He's the reason why he bombs them is because he's not quick enough to get to the line on time. So a lot of the time he gets taken over or he fucking drops the ball. And it's purely because he just doesn't have the pace. If Johnson was playing last week, he would have scored 5 tries.
Yeah.
If AJ was playing. Easily 5 tries. But yeah, Mansell, don't rate him. Paying $1.30 though. You're going to get a piece of that.
No, I'm steering away from him. Shock horror. I'm actually going the opposition, and I think Fafita will get over at $2.75. As I said, South do occasionally give league points. I think they're going to score 1,000, but I think they're going to concede 3-4 tries, possibly as well. And I think Fafita, from memory, either scored 2 or 3 against them last time in the first half. I think it was 3. He was on a hat trick at halftime. They still lost. But he's at 275 and he's been killing it this year. So I'm all about that. How do you see it?
Definitely taking the overs in this one. Over 54.5 points. It's going to rain tries, especially in the dry conditions. Both teams are in good form offensively as well. Attack's looking great. So that's one leg. The other leg that I have is it's fairly safe, but it adds a little bit of juice to my multi. It's Gold Coast to score over 11.5 points. The Souths have been giving up 2 tries to everybody, apart from the game they had like 5 weeks ago where they held someone to nil. I forgot which shit team that was. But they've given up more than 2 tries to a lot of the shit teams. A lot of the time they get well ahead and they just let teams back into it by the end of the game. Titans have the strike power to get over. So over an 11.5 points for the Titans. And I've also got the Rabbitohs to cover the 5.5 line. So those 3 plays together is $3. You're ready to throw the house on it.
Do you know there's only 3 games this year that they've kept the team to 2 or less tries, under 2 tries, 1 or less, 0 tries. 2 of them are the Broncos and the other one was the Bulldogs.
You didn't have to bring the Broncos up. Could have just said 3.
No, that's 3. 2 of them, yeah. Even the Dogs second time scored 4 tries against them.
But that was before Ben Ikin. So
that was the week before Ben Ikin, from memory, was. And then Ben Ikin went there.
That performance is what delivered Ben Ikin the role. So if anything, I'm happy that happened.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's one way you want to look at it, but yeah.
But I do like David Fafita to score as well. He fucking scores in like the first 5 minutes of getting on the field all the time.
And to be honest, like you think, him being benched is a worry. Like Tomalolo, for example, being benched has just been a nightmare for Tomalolo. But I think anything it enhances his chances to score because when he comes on, whenever he's on the field, everyone's like, it's going his way. So like, I wish Penrith did this with kick out. They know it's coming.
We say this every week,
but they're more fatigued this time, so they know it's coming this way. Plus the fatigue, and they struggle even more. So.
Yeah, and when Fafita scores, it's effortless.
Yeah,
10 meters out, just picking up blokes. It's too easy for him. And for him to be at 270, that's value right there. I'm going to chuck him into another one of my multis.
Yeah, load up.
Fucking Broncos reject, form of his life, breaking tackles all over the joint. Anyway, Cowboys Tigers, the bludger of the round. If you've got dinner plans, pull them in early. Have dinner at 5:30. Don't watch this game because it's going to be a fucking nightmare. This is at 5:30, Queensland Country Bank Stadium. What do we have? We've got a big out for the Cowboys. Try-scoring phenom Murray Tuilagi out after that sickening nosedive last week. Taumalolo's also out. For the Cowboys, most years that's a bad sign for them, but based on his form in the Cowboys, I don't think it makes a difference. The big in for them is Francis Molo, State of Origin debutant from 2021. Add some spark in the middle. And for the Tigers, not too many changes going on over there. Tigers are the favourite. I think, what's the line, 2 points on this one?
No, it's 4.5. 4
it's
points.
4.5.
Yeah, depend where you go.
Not even pissed this week. But, how do you see this one going apart from more drop balls and tries scored? What else do you see happening?
This game, I think, is going to be probably one of the... I reckon it's going to be weird for me to say this, but I reckon it's going to be one of the, as a neutral, the funnier games to watch because you're going to see some dumb shit in it. And it's going to be comical because I don't know if you've been watching the old Tales of Tiger Town on Fox on KO or whichever one you go with. But like, it's quite entertaining actually, just watching another team who had literally got 4 or 5 wins this season and they're really trying to paint them up inspiring. Cowboys though, I think going to call it Todd Payton is possibly the worst signing of the season. Coach and
Shit.
No, but like they signed Todd Payton on a whim that, hey, look what he did with the Warriors in Australia during lockdown and what he turned them around, nearly made them into the final. They hired him on the basis of a 6-week stint that he did at the Warriors, had no first grade experience, rolls into the Cowboys, turns the dressing room upside down. Taumalolo is he's got his $1 million player off the rails in terms of performance. He fractured his hand 3 times in one season. How did you fracture your hand 3 times in like?
Well, he punched Todd Payton the first time. That's the rumor I
Must have.
tried to start anyway.
Must have twice at least.
Yeah.
But like he's just got that team has just lost its way altogether. And I know like a lot of it comes back to the dumb club, you know, keeping Thurston on for another year and letting Ponga go.
Yeah.
It goes a long way back in terms of them hanging, like pretty much like the Lakers with Kobe Bryant, like just hanging on and then all of a sudden being crap for a few years. And they will be, but he's not a first grade coach. So I'm calling that early. I think they cover the 4 and 4.5 points wherever you're shopping at the moment for your lines. And also, I'm going Adam Dewey anytime try scorer. Again, based on what I watched on TV the other night, yeah, he's actually a pretty cool player to watch and funny. He just chirps and he's their best player. So I'm jumping on him at any times. And I think he's got it 261, I believe I got him for at any time. What was it?
Wait, who's this? 261?
Adam Dewey, $2.37 anytime against the Cowboys.
Ooh. Okay. I could ride with that. I also see this game going towards Tigers. I say this every week. The Cowboys have been terrible since they got Tom Dearden. Terrible.
And who recommended him? Probably Todd Payton. His fault.
Todd Payton. Kevin Walters didn't even recommend him. Kevin Walters was saying, we want to keep him, but they didn't offer him anything. But Todd Payton was like, I'm going to fucking snatch this cunt up. Broncos want him. I want him. But look what you've got. He's been playing all right the last few weeks, but still well under the average 7 that you see. Like Luke Brooks is going to look like a superstar compared to Tommy in this game.
Yeah.
But I see the Tigers covering the line. Another interesting play that I have is on the Cowboys to go under. I think their line's 23.5. The Cowboys haven't scored more than 20 points in 6 games.
Oh, but hang on. Their superstar coach has put Granville to center this time. So Granville's now playing center. There's more points there. Fucking your hooker's playing center. Like fullback was a bit of a shock. Now they've moved him to center. The Tigers had a week to prepare for Jake Granville defending in the centers.
Yeah, and he put Taumalolo in the second row last week. I don't know what he was thinking. If anything, you move Taumalolo to prop.
Yeah,
because he's
getting up the middle.
He's a prop, and you play him prop minutes. 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off.
Yeah,
like let him be explosive for a short period of time. As he gets older, you don't move him further away from the middle. Like he can't move sideways.
Yeah,
but coach of the year candidate, I agree. They've also got heaps of no names on their bench. So, but the Tigers highly inconsistent. But like they didn't even win last week's game. The Tigers, the Bulldogs gave it to them.
No,
like
I think the Bulldogs gave it to them.
Last week, I was sweating bullets. That was one of look, I did some degenerate, irresponsible gambling on the weekend. I put 2 $250 bets down on Sunday, chasing my losses like every good punter. And I had one leg in each of the multis. So I had one was Tigers to win. The other was for the total points to go under because I was predicting a bludger of a game. These cunts scored 30-something points together in the first half, and I was like, fuck, my under's going to go. That's $250 down the drain. But luckily, the second half was low scoring. But this game was errors everywhere. Like just 10 meters from your own line, drop it. The other team has a scrum, and then they drop it trying to score. It was disgusting. So I'm imagining much of the same in this one, but not looking forward to watching it. But because I've got a bit of a stake on it, I shall. My anytime try scorer in this one, my man Ken Mamalo. Still got a soft spot for him after that exit from the Warriors game. It's just every time I think of him, I see him crying, and I'm glad that he's getting meat pies. Got a double last week. So picking him to go over. Big Kenny. Now into the main event. If this was a couple of months ago, cracking game to watch. Manly Sea Eagles, Parramatta Eels, Sunshine Coast Stadium. Eels looking for some retribution. They're on the slide. Everybody's off them. Everyone wants Brad Arthur out. Gutherson wants more money. Reid Marnie's been injured. Turbo's a fucking stud. You need him to win the highest try scorer winner for the year to get some bank. There's just a lot of things riding on this game. Not really, because it's going to be a fucking landslide. But notable outs, Paseka's out. He's one of my favourite front rowers going around. So he's out. For Manly, for Parramatta, we've got Reid Marnie, Oregon Kaufusi out. RCG's still out after his groin injury a few weeks ago. So Parramatta missing some troops. Michael Oldfield's in the team. Fuck me. They're desperate. Moses still playing with a broken back. I think Parramatta's paying over $4 to get the win on this one, which is crazy. $4.50 considering where these two teams sit on the ladder. It just goes to show the form of these two sides. But how do you see this one going? Can Parramatta cover this line?
Nah, they're done. They're cooked.
No.
I said last week they were cooked. I said they were on the decline.
Yeah.
They've declined further. They were shithousing against South last week. And then you chuck in Reid Marnie, they brought Moses back and they thought it's the difference. But, mate, Reid Marnie going is bigger. Manly covered this line comfortably. I thought Manly, as I said earlier, were considering how little opportunity, how little ball they had against Melbourne, were awesome. I felt if that was a game, if that was a game of 50% possession, Manly win that comfortably. Like, for once, we saw a team who didn't get many opportunities, but when they went down that left edge, they bombed a couple, but they burnt Melbourne on their edges. And I just think that, as bad as a weird sounds, that loss for them actually probably made them feel more confident where they are, that they can compete with Melbourne, who are by far the best team. So they will look at themselves as the second best team of the comp now. Para will be looking at themselves like we're going to struggle to make the 8. There is a mathematical probability that they can miss it, I think. So, but it's a very long.
Is there really?
I believe there is a mathematical probability. It's like very. They've basically got to tank. They've got to lose their last 4 games. And Titans and Raiders and Knights, 2 of those 3 teams got to win all 4 of their games and win by.
Oh, that's difficult because they verse each other as well. Some of those teams.
Yeah, it's math. It's very minute. But anyway, they're going to make the finals, Para, but they're going to really struggle. I think they cover the line comfortably. Very confident. -13.5. They comfortably cover that. South pumped them.
Yeah.
Roosters pumped them. How are they going to get up from
Manly pumped them last time.
Yeah,
Manly pumped them while Parramatta were playing good.
How are they going to get up for this game against Manly? Unless there's injuries or something to Manly. Like that 13.5, I think, way too short. All over that. And my anytime try scorers, I'm just going back to him. He didn't score last week, but he was very good. Tommy Turbo, $1.45.
Get on it. Like, I've got a very similar play on this one. But what was I about to say? Oh, here we go. If you back Parramatta to cover the line, right, that $1.90, you're basically betting on Trbojevic getting injured. Like, $1.90 odds for him to get injured is what you're really hoping for because there's no other way that they do it. Quick rabbit hole, let me take you down. You know how I've got 2 dogs?
Yes.
I've got 2 dogs, fucking eat a lot, so they shit a lot. Their shit is bigger than mine. Oh. And I'm pretty sure they're both doing 2 dumps a day by my count. So I don't pick up their shit every single day. I often let it pile up a little bit because I'm a little bit lazy and in lockdown. So every 3-4 days I go out, pick it all up, I'll fill a whole bag, like a whole Woolies bag full of shit, dump it in the bin, right? Because of when State of Origin was on a Wednesday, that's the same night as bin night, I completely forgot to take the bins out. And that same day, I had a whole bag of dog shit in there, right?
Yep.
So the following week was the time to take the bins out. Bins chockers, smelling like absolute shit, like one of the worst things. That reminds me of Parramatta. The smell of that week old bag of shit in my rubbish.
Wondering where this was going. I really was wondering. Like, are we talking about Gutherson's believe value? Like, that's a bloody piece of shit at the moment. He thinks he's $1 million player. Like, fuck.
No. Well, you got to try to get that back. But no, they are so bad. It just reminds me of that time I forgot to take the bins out, and it was just covered in shit. Week old shit.
That's a load.
Yeah. So, I thought I'd just throw that in there because that's what they remind me of. Let's get into this seedy Sunday. Seedy Sunday, we've got 2 games of football. First one at 1:50 p.m. is at Moreton Daily Stadium at Redcliffe. Sees the New Zealand Warriors versus the Canterbury Bulldogs Raiders. Now, I call them the Bulldogs Raiders because, unfortunately for the Bulldogs, Dylan Harper and Jack Hetherington are out this week. They're the boys that get fired up, bit of starch in the middle. But thanks to the Canberra Raiders loaning Corey Horsburgh, one of the most emotional players you can find on a rugby league field, and Ryan James, one of the great try-scoring front rowers, I think the Bulldogs team actually look a little bit better. For the Warriors, after the melees and fired-up game against Cronulla last week, they've got Kane Evans and Matt Lodge and now Dallin all out due to suspensions. It brings it in a little bit. I think this game will be a little bit closer than predicted, but how do you see this one going?
I think it's going to be a very close game. It's very hard to pick for me. So, in terms of winners, so I think when you're getting 9.5 of the Dogs, 9.5 points for the Dogs, you jump all over it. The Dogs, again, under not as much pressure as they probably should be under, but they've definitely, I don't think they've improved, if they have at all, really, this year. But then I think the Warriors have just, I think their season, they've just clocked off on their season. I think the Roger Tuivasa-Sheck leaving the team early. They did get a win last week against Cronulla, but Cronulla were fucking horrendous, like the dog shit you pick up 2 weeks later. They were very bad. So I think this is a game where the Dogs can see themselves getting up and keeping it close. They've had to loan players, and you think that usually means they've got no one left, they're struggling, but it's not bad pick. It's Gaskell already going out there and grabbing Ryan James and Corey Horsburgh. I think Corey Horsburgh coming off the bench, much more reliable and better than Jack Hetherington is at the moment. And then Napa has been just as disappointing as Ryan James. So Ryan James this season, once he's been fit, has been playing pretty well for the Raiders. So I think they cover that line. Dallin's obviously going to be missing, so they're going to have to shift someone into the winger spot. I don't know how they're going to do it. And they've also got Chad Townsend on the reserve, so they're bringing him in, then I'm backing his goal kicking to be shithouse, and they'll even more likely cover the line. In terms of try scorers, I did have Dallin originally. I jumped on him early. I forgot he was going to judiciary, and I just thought old club. He's going to get out there and score, then do the harker straight after to rub it into them. But I'm happy to take Reece Walsh at $1.62 at the same price.
I saw that one coming, and I like it. I like it a lot. What have I got on this fucking game? Warriors v Bulldogs. I predict this one to be close. Warriors have won their last 2 games, but they've been by very small margins, so that 9.5 is delicious to get on. So I like the Bulldogs to cover this line. I also like the unders in this one. The Warriors haven't scored over 20 points. Well, barely score over 20 points. They just can't seem to finish off. They can get field possession. They don't drop the ball much. Very similar to the Bulldogs. High completion rates, but there's nothing on the back of it. Sean O'Sullivan at 7 gives them nothing to really score with. It's usually some Reece Walsh magic or a fucking Dallin going 100 meters to score. My anytime try scorer that I like in this one's Nick Meaney. He's actually been on form, been scoring quite a bit lately, especially from fullback. So Nick Meaney's got a lot of value to score. But yeah, I'm really back. My safe bets on this one is for the Dogs to cover the line and for it to go unders. Those 2 alone is already $3.50 or something like that. So get all up in that one. The final game of this seedy Sunday, Sharks v the Knights, 4:00. This one's at Redcliffe as well. So Redcliffe gets a double header on this one. Lucky them. Probably $10 a ticket too. If there are any crowds. I think it's 50% crowds this week.
Is it?
So there'll be, I think I heard that 50% crowds in Queensland. So there might be 18 people at this game. For the Sharks, the big outs is Will Chambers not being named in the starting side. He's named in the reserve, so he's not injured. He's not suspended. He's just offside with a couple. Billy Magoulias is in the interchange. That's always exciting when Billy's on there. For the Knights, no massive outs either. So pretty almost full strength for the Knights, and it's all coming together quite well. Odds on favourites to make the top 8 this year. The Knights are the favourites in this one. But how do you see this one going?
This is the game I'm most confident with this weekend in terms of covering the line. -6.5 Newcastle. I think you just said it. Their roster's coming together. They're getting a bit of a run. Everything just seems to be humming along nicely for the Knights. I know a couple of weeks ago I was a bit, how you going about them? But that was without Pearce, and now Pearce is in that team, and they're just such a better team with Pearce there and Ponga, obviously. So I think they'll cover this line comfortably. The Sharks played the Warriors last week, we just touched on, and they had twice an extra player on the field and still couldn't get the win there. So I think this game just has Knights written all over it. I think they are playing to make the 8. There's just everything's going for them. I just can't believe it's only this low here, this line. Like they've come off a game where they've lost against the Roosters and Melbourne, but then since then they've put 34 points on the Raiders, and they did beat Brisbane on Friday night. And I know it was technically an empty stadium there, but it was away from home. They did enough to win, so I think this is the run they need to go on. Whereas Cronulla, on the other hand, wheels are falling off. They got a bloke in the change room who half the team fucking hate, and it's not come out what he said to Kane Evans, but you could tell by the reaction of the players when somebody literally goes up and punches one of your teammates in the face, and everyone goes over to try and calm the other guy down instead of just fucking getting into him and grabbing him and throwing him and playing in. There's obviously just like more Cronulla players were like, it's okay trying to calm down Kane Evans, rather than jumping in and going, no, fucking hit my teammate. Like, that just says it all. So there's definite fucking problems in that change room at the moment. Josh Hannay's just dropped into reserve, so he's still going to be a trade. Still going to be worth.
Can you imagine if Kane Evans punched like Connor Tracy?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Everyone would pile in on him, like, going, dog, don't touch Connor, my boy. Even Will Kennedy. Will Kennedy's a lovely bloke.
He is.
Billy Magoulias, Toby Rudolph, someone touched him, like, mate, he's a top bloke, but like, clearly he's offside in that team. Big problems. Knights getting players back together, starting to string some good games together. Haven't hit their best form yet, so I think they're going to warm up to it and get close to it this week. Cover that -6.5. Kalen Ponga anytime, $1.72. There is jam in this game. That's just money.
Eat it all up. I also see the Knights covering this line. I'm surprised it's only 6.5. Like, Cronulla have been bad for a while now. They had a good stretch of 4 games. That was when they were just knocking off teams around the State of Origin period.
And that was with Matt Moylan as well on that team.
Yeah, and Sean Johnson was playing really good too. And then
Sean Johnson as well.
He's injured. Yeah, he's injured. Moylan's not in yet. It's not looking pretty for Cronulla. So all over that Knights line. That's 6.5. That's an easy one. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing Bradman Best and Jesse Ramium just clash bodies. Just some aggressive big boys out in the centres. Really keen to see that. But my anytime try scorer in this one's Tuala. He'll be the beneficiary of some Bradman Best magic. But he's only like $1.60. But fuck it. Last game of the round. Keep it safe. Don't want to be sweating,
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. But that wraps up fuck, we got through every single game already. How about that? Time flies when you're having fun.
Dog shit and throwing up.
Do you want to find out what I heard, what I was able to learn on the best way to clean your dick? Because I did bring that up last week. And
you did.
I know you've probably been
I haven't
thinking
stopped thinking about it since. Not your one in particular, but just general cleaning. So, please share.
Yep. So this is straight off the Health Direct government website. For those of you who don't believe me, you can have a look at this yourself. So the first instruction that they give out, which I'm surprised they have to give this as an instruction, is to gently wash it.
Oh.
Gently wash your penis each day. So I don't know if anybody is out there washing it with force. Depends how many brothels you hit that day after work, but gently is underlined. So very important part to make sure you're very careful with it. and then carefully pull back and clean underneath the foreskin as well as the tip of your penis using only water and some very gentle soap.
Gentle soap, right.
Yep. So I know people are probably writing this down, so I'll say it slower, be gentle, be careful, pull it back, clean underneath, and then use a very gentle soap with it because it's a sensitive area. If anyone was listening last week, I mentioned bringing out a scourer. That's actually goes against the tip here. So don't scrub this sensitive area. If anyone was thinking about it, don't pull it back, pull out the scourer and start going to town, because probably going to land yourself in a little bit of hot water there. And then post completing and rinsing this penis of yours, make sure you gently pat it dry, especially the area underneath your foreskin and the rest of your penis. So that gives me a fair bit of confidence if I was going to the Big Brother house that won't be ridiculed for my cleaning methods. But I just had to mention that because I know you're probably thinking about it all week. So
Totally.
if anyone else was, you're welcome. And just jump into the healthdirect.gov.au. It's under penis care. It's got its own place. So it's a very popular search. But yeah, another one, it's about smegma buildup, but I can talk about that another week because...
yeah, that's for your health podcast you want to start doing.
Fuck, I'm keen for this week's footy. This lockdown driving me mad. 7 weeks, bro.
Yeah, it's been a while.
With no end in sight. There's no end in sight for this thing.
But I'll give you guys my value multi of the week.
Let's do it, please.
Finish up this stuff. And that way you don't have the thought of washing your dick in the last thing you heard today. So mine, I've gone 4 legs again. And I've told them my most 4 confident games. Tigers -4.5. Cover that. They'll beat the Cowboys comfortably. Manly will run a score over Para. Bulldogs +9.5. They'll scrap and keep it close. Hopefully Jag the win and we don't have to stress on it. And then the Knights, wrapping it up, will pump the Sharks on Sunday afternoon to bring it home. That there's paying about 14-1 with Bet365. So that's my multi. Do you have a special value multi-play of the weekend that you like?
I got a couple safe ones that I'm keen to jump on, but I'll let you know that I'm definitely going to be jumping all over yours. I like it, and I like it a lot. I'll throw big dollars at it. My one pays $43. It's a 10-leg multi over 4 or 5 games. 5 games. So I'm looking at 2 legs in 5 games, and all up it's $43. So the very first one, Broncos +19.5, under 56.5. It'll be a low-scoring game. Broncos won't lose by more than 3 tries. The next one is the Titans to score more than 11.5 points and Souths to cover 5.5. I think that'll be easy. High-scoring game. Souths will punish them by 2 to 3 tries easily. The next one is Manly to cover that line and for Turbo to score. That's the daily double. If 9 out of 10 times you get on Manly to cover the line, Turbo to score, makes you rich. Provided they're not versing Melbourne, so in time it'll fuck you.
Yeah.
The next one is for a bludger in that Warriors Canterbury game. Go the unders, Bulldogs to cover the line. And the final one is Panthers -9.5 and under 56.5. So all of these are about $2 to $3 each. Combined equal $43. I've got $40 on that one with a potential win of $1,700.
Lovely.
Now think of all the different things you could do with $1,700. Punt it, exactly.
Only punt.
But what would you do?
1,700. I'd buy a new driver to begin with. That'd be sick. God, I'd punt some.
I would punt the majority of it, but I would buy a new microphone for this very podcast.
Yeah, I'll probably
definitely on the top of my wish list. But outside of that, I'd punt it all. Yeah. Look, there's some repairs that need to be done in my investment property, but that's not exciting, is it?
No.
No, I'll roll that over. Just imagine pumping your best bet multi, right? Like, this is what I want you to do, actually. When you win this week's multi, I want you to roll all your winnings from this week's multi into your best bets multi for next week. Because once you go 2 from 2, you're fucking streaking, baby.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That's
I should do that,
supreme confidence. You should.
I'll
It's all
screen
your
and
winnings.
you know what I'll do? I'll screenshot and post for those doubters out there, and I'll do it.
You'll do it?
It's
Yeah,
happening. 100%. I'll do it. You'll laugh.
All right, beautiful. All right, we'll do that, and we'll also face our fears. Let's do that. Let's do it next week. Next week's podcast, me and you will face our fears. Oh, that means I have to buy a pure blonde. We'll face our fears. I'll get 6 deep. I'll do a 6-pack throughout the whole potty easily.
Goodness,
Let's do it.
I don't think I'll do a bottle, but like I'm the one who's got to cut this up and post it and edit it and everything. Otherwise, you're not going to get a podcast anytime soon.
I think. How many standard drinks in a pure blonde? Like 1.2?
I have no idea. I'm not 18 anymore. I don't even know.
It's probably something a week like that. But I think it's fair if I do a 6-pack of pure blondes and face my fears. You do 6 shots of Black Sambuca.
6 shots. Okay. I don't know if that. I'll check the maths if that adds up there, but I just don't think 6 beers. 6 shots. I just feel like if I do 6 shots, I'm going to be way tanked more than doing 6 beers. But we'll see.
We'll see. All right. Well, that wraps up today's episode. Fucking get into it. If you're in lockdown, stay safe, clean your dick, and happy punting.
See you guys.